Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name, and it's about that time that we do a deck guide on our zombie priest deck. We've done quite a few deck testings, and I think we might have it with this list, and by might, I think we do. We've made quite a few changes since the start of the deck, and now we've basically got it down to, I think, where it's going to run the most optimal, in my perspective, that is. Everybody's going to run the deck a little bit different, which is totally okay. The foundation is just what you need, and that's basically using resurrect and cards that have resurrect abilities to bring back giant creatures such as Sagoth, Ragnaros, Bog Creeper, and maybe something maybe not as big but annoying like Sylvanas, which we could see in the deck list. So for those of you unfamiliar with how we do our deck guides around here, we go ahead and we talk about the list, why I have what I have in it. We kind of explain a little bit about if it's a win condition, why I have one of them, why I have one copy versus two copies of some card. And then on top of that, we go into playing the deck itself and kind of talk about the mulligans, what we're looking for, and how to play out specific matchups. So without further ado, let's get into the actual deck list here. We have double Circle of Healing, this in combination with cards such as the Soul Priest for a full board clear to 4 damage for everything's really important in the early game, and that's where this deck struggles the most is being able to kind of survive the early game versus the more aggressive classes such as Hunter, Shaman, and Warlock. But the second you can survive basically past turn, I want to say 5 or 6, and you've semi-stabilized on the board, this deck absolutely train wrecks people. Circle of Healing also combos well with the Injured Blade Master on turn 2 if you have coin, or on turn 3 if you just play them naturally. Most classes currently can't really deal with a turn 3 4/7 unless you're comparing it to a Shaman who's got sometimes a turn 3 7/7 or a turn 4 7/7. So not as powerful as that 4-drop 7/7, but still pretty good. The Power Ward Shield is basically the only draw mechanic in this deck. I would have to say that's another weakness in the deck, is not having early game along with draw. But the problem is if we put in the draw mechanics, we lose out on how good Resurrect becomes, right? Because there's a certain length a certain limit to the amount of smaller minions in the deck. Because we kind of wanted to limit the amount of, like I said, small minions like Doomsayers, Northshire Clerics, even Priest of the Feast, because when you resurrect a card, we need that card to be a big bad creature, such as Sagoth, or Rag, or Bog Creeper. We can't be bogged down. My jokes are horrible. By cards such as like Priest of the Feast, or continuously getting maybe Northshire Clerics or Doomsayers. So that's why those aren't included in the deck list. Resurrect, basically what the deck is, it's a Resurrect Priest deck. So this is a staple. Shadow Word Pain to these guys. This is going to get you through the early game most of the time. Injured Blade Master, again, kind of that early game. It's not the best card that you can get back from Resurrect or the Onyx Bishop, but a 4/7 is still not terrible, and it can carry you through the mid game, no doubt, and especially the early game. Shadow Ward Death is your big minion removal, along with the Entomb, which we haven't got to them later. But a lot of the times you'll be able to Shadow Ward Death's cards. You normally don't think a Thing from Below being Shadow Ward Death, but a lot of the times a Shaman will put a Flame Tongue Totem next to him, so you actually can Shadow Ward Death cards that you normally wouldn't, depending on how your opponent plays. So it's actually not as bad as having 2 versus just 1. The Soul Priest, like I said, is your field removal with Circle of Healing. Unfortunately, at this time, Priest doesn't have any really, really good field removal. We kind of have to stick with the combination of 2 cards, which is, again, the Circle of Healing and the Soul Priest, or Excavated Evil or Holy Nova. But even at that time, it's not like a really big field removal, right? Like we have Warrior, which has Brawl. It doesn't care what the minion size is. It's just one creature's going to live, and that clears the board. We have Paladin, who has Equality Consecration. For 6 mana, you can kill everything on your opponent's side. Doesn't matter how big it is or how small it is, it's going to die. But unfortunately for Priest, it's most of the time single target removal, or hopefully they don't have more than 4 HP. The Barnes in this deck is very, very important. And of course, if we could run 2, we would, but currently 1 is the max we can run due to the fact that he's a legendary. And this is going to, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Barnes, but you should know him by now, he summons a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. So we play Barnes, right, on turn 4, and it pulls, best case scenario, Sagoth or Rag. Even Bog's good. Even though it's just a 1/1 copy and your opponent's going to be able to deal with that easily, you're going to be able to resurrect that card back, because it's most likely the only card that's died that particular game, or one of 2 cards that have died this game if you happen to play the Injured Blade Master early. So when you resurrect, you have a chance to bring back a Rag or Bog or Sagoth on turn 4 or 5, and then just for every time that they kill it, it makes the following Resurrect that much stronger because it has a higher probability of bringing it back again because it's died twice or 3 times, depending on the amount of times your opponent's been able to deal with that one large minion. And eventually they're going to run out of resources, and because this deck does so well at kind of single target removal or cards such as Entomb, that your opponent's not going to be able to build up a big enough board to be able to deal with the big minions that you just keep bringing back for the cheap price of 2 mana or 5 mana, but you're also summoning a 3/4, so there's a lot of pros, but there's definitely cons to this deck. It's not don't expect a tier 1 deck from this. It's definitely more of a fun deck, but it does work, and it's really fun when it does. Heading over to the Shadow Word Madness, I actually replaced the Priest of the Feast with this card, and that's because I kept having the Priest of the Feast being resurrected back, and I just kept getting really annoyed with that because it would never bring back Bog or Rag or Sagoth. It would just keep bringing back this 3/6 that couldn't really do anything. So I've replaced this with Shadow Madness, which is really good against most classes, gaining control of an enemy minion that with 3 or less attack, and then being able to attack with that minion. So making trades, especially if it has Death Rattle abilities, that you're going to be able to benefit off of that on top, or maybe like an Imp Gang Boss, so you actually can generate a creature from it. So I found a lot of uses for Shadow Madness. It's not going to be viable in all games, but how many cards in the deck are viable in every single matchup? Not that many, but but it's good early in the game, and that's when this deck really struggles. So I think the Shadow Madness is really nice. The Excavated Evils, you're basically your field removal that does 3 damage to everything. It also puts a really bad card in your opponent's deck if they're running like Hunter or Warlock or some earlier game mid-range deck. Drawing an Excavated Evil is kind of like a really dry draw for them because they don't want to kill their own minions, basically. The Holy Nova, again, just a form of field removal because Priest is pretty bad at having a good field removal. I'm sure when the new expansion hits and I can put Dragonfire Potion in this deck, it will be in this deck, but currently we don't have such a card. If Light Bomb was still available, I would definitely be putting Light Bomb in here, but we don't have that option. Onyx Bishop, part of, again, the Resurrect part. This is our Entomb, in my opinion, one of the best Priest cards in the game, if not the best Priest card ever. It's basically just steal your opponent's whatever the fuck I feel like, whether it's a Tyrion, a Sylvanas, a Rag, it doesn't matter. You point, target, take. That's what I'm talking about. Sylvanas, again, one of those kind of annoying cards that you can just keep bringing back, and eventually your opponent's just not going to be able to deal with it. 2 Bog Creepers, very, very good against aggressive base decks, especially Zoo. They have no way to get past this unless they want to waste Power Overwhelmings or Soulfires. At that point, they don't have Burst, and you can just heal yourself back up, and bringing back multiple Bog Creepers in one game is insane. And it has 6 attack, so it can't even be BGH'd if you're looking, if you play against someone teching BGH in. Rag, again, if you pull this guy from Barnes, really, really nice. It's also a kind of a late game finisher if you think about it, because if you get them low enough, drop the Rag, hits the face, and you're going places. So we kind of just wanted 5 really, really strong cards to keep bringing back, and that's the Sylvanas, Bog Creepers, Rag, and Sagoth. And the Sagoth is an interesting one. It's first of all, Priest versus Priest, and Priest going up against a Priest and going up against Warrior. There's a lot of removal in their deck. So putting in a card. I forgot what we had in here earlier, but our creatures just kept getting taken out. And with Sagoth, it can't be targeted by hero powers or spells, making it so if we keep bringing back a card like this, they can't use the removal to kill it, which is very, very powerful. So I think Sagoth in this deck works very well, and definitely increases the win rate versus particular classes such as Warrior and other Priest deck, and especially Rogues. They can't even sap it. So if you play like a Bog Creeper, or you resurrect a Bog Creeper and they sap it back to your hand, it's gonna cost 7 again. It doesn't cost the 4 or cost the 2 that Resurrect brought it back. But Sagoth, he can't be targeted. This guy's just a beast. Can you imagine sending that giant dude back to someone's hand? He ain't fitting. So that's basically the rundown of the deck, why I've got what I've got in it, and now we're going to head into the actual games, where we'll talk about the deck, the mulligans, and how the rundown goes of some going against some particular classes. Sorry about that, guys. And I'll see you there. Alrighty, so heading into our first game here, where we're going to be going against a Huntard. So this definitely should be an interesting matchup, and I'll try my best to keep it going. But it's going to be a hard one. Like I said, Hunter, Warlock, and Shaman are some of the hardest matchups with this particular deck, due to the fact that they are able to do so much damage so quickly. So Soul Priest is something we can actually think about keeping, due to the fact that Soul Priest Circle of Healing is such a powerful kind of you know, field removal early on, but I think I'm going to forego this and basically just look for Injured Blade Master, Shadow Word Pain, things that will allow us to deal with the early game that Hunter puts out. Also, Barnes is very important in this matchup. Also, Freezing Trap is quite annoying because if we don't get like a Bog Creeper or something like that, we can't really do much. So coining out the Shadow Ward Pain to deal with the Fiery Bat is something that we can think about. But the problem is if he plays the Huntress and then he can play a bunch of secrets after. I suppose if he plays the Huntress, then he'll play the secrets right away. So maybe killing this bat is important. But we can just heal. But we could save coin. Should we save coin? I think we can afford to save the coin for now, because we can heal back up the damage dealt by this. This is not that big of a deal, the Grandmother, because we just don't pop it. 1 damage a turn is something we can deal with. I didn't want to use coin because the sooner we can coin out like a Bog Creeper, the sooner we can start getting Resurrects down on the board. And Hunters currently don't really play Deadly Shot anymore, so that's pretty nice. But in this matchup, like I said, Injured Blade Master, Circle of Healing, Excavated good, Holy Nova's good, so. Oh, this is not good. Drawing both Bog Creepers in the first 7 cards of the deck is not what we were looking for, but he hasn't put on too much pressure yet. He's only showing 2, and then his hero power is 4, putting us at 22. Barnes, if he rips the Savannah High Main, we can just throw out that GG no re. Well, there you go. This is the extent of ladder. Sorry, guys. This is what we've got going on here. You can't beat just can't beat stuff like that. Unless you draw cards like that. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's just, you know, do we pop the 1/1 or do we pop the Divine Shield? I think we pop the Divine Shield.
Blessings to you.
Just give him that blessings to you. Show him that we give a fuck. We gotta show him that we care. Alright, so we're 1 turn off playing the Bog Creeper. Getting kind of low here on that HP mark. He's pushing a lot of damage. The Circle of Healing is a field removal that we can use right now. And I think I'm going to take the opportunity to do so. Because he's going to swing his Eagle Horn Bow into this. We took 7 damage off the table. He only has 4 cards in hand. And if he decides he wants to drop a Savannah High Main, we just casually take it because that is what our deck does. Is he choosing to go face with his weapon, or is he going to hold off on some secrets? He's choosing to hold off on some secrets. Playing the Onyx Bishop right now is going to bring back a Savannah High Main. If I'm not mistaken, I believe. No, it could bring back the Soul Priest. So I think we're actually going to coin out the Bog Creeper. Because bringing back Soul Priest is actually really bad because we can't heal ourselves, and it wouldn't really do much. If it brings back Savannah High Main, that's really nice. But I'd rather Bog Creeper start dying, so it's a higher chance it would bring back something better than, of course, the Soul Priest. Which is why we run. Oh my god, this guy does run Deadly Shots? You gotta be fucking kidding me. This guy's a god. So we're going to go ahead, and I believe this might be an Onyx Bishop turn, but if it gets the Soul Priest, we lose. So I think we're going to play, yet again, another Bog Creeper. And unless he top decks another Deadly Shot, I think we're in a pretty good position. Because then we can start dropping Kill Command, and then he can swing his Wolf in there, which means Excavated Evil sounds pretty good. Ideally, he should keep the Wolf intact and not pop it, which is what he's doing here, which is good because it makes the Excavated Evil not as great. So now when we Onyx Bishop, we have a pretty good chance, I believe, that it'll pull something really nice. So, please pull a Bog Creeper. Be a Bog Champ. Hey, buddy. Feels good, man. Feels good. So he can still win by Quick Shot, Kill Command, Hero Power. So there's still an out for him here. Huge Toad is not gonna do it. So we actually could go with the, we could swing into this and then Excavated Evil. But then we kind of want to keep this alive. because of Deadly Shot, but I think he might only be playing 1. So I think it would be okay. Gonna heal ourselves, of course, and start going face. So in that situation, I didn't want him to have a wide board, because if he draws Call the Wild or he gets an Animal Companion into Leok, he'll be able to basically kill our Bog Creeper without much worry. But because we cleared his board, he's going to be basically having the top deck exactly what he needs. Kill Command doesn't do it. A quick shot would be pretty scary. So making sure we can draw into some more healing or just something. Holy Nova is actually pretty nice here. So if we swing face and then Holy Nova, we would be pushing almost lethal next turn. So I think that's the plan. And the reason, or not almost lethal, we would be pushing lethal. That's why I didn't pick Rag. And that's also why we didn't attack this guy, because him having the big bad wolf doesn't change anything. There's going to be no way to get through this Bog Creeper. There's just no way. Unless he gets another Deadly Shot at, which we still have lethal. Because then we would swing our Injured Blade Master into his big bad wolf, play Rag, and then that's 8 damage to the face. So we set up lethal definitely there. And the Bog Champ, this is why this card is in the deck. the aggro decks just can't deal with it. Unless they got, the first time it died had Deadly Shotted, but imagine if that Deadly Shot wasn't there. Like, it's just so much value. And then there was some RNG that the Onyx brought it back, but we gave it the best shot we could, right? It was very important that we had to play 2 of them. 2 of them died, because then it could have gotten Savannah Highmane or Soul Priest, but, you know, it was a 50% chance we'd got a Bog. And as soon as that first Bog dies, the second Bog dies, the third Bog dies. More Bogs that dies, the more Bogs that come back. So against a Shaman, the 4-drop 7/7 isn't as popular as it once was. I think I'm going to keep Circle of Healing, just because by turn 4, they definitely can swarm the field. Barnes is super sick in their opening hand, and Excavated is always nice. But the only problem with playing Barnes is it's just another bad card to get resurrected, right? So, very important that we kind of watch out. That's why we want the card that Barnes brings out to die prior to Barnes, so then we can resurrect that. Looks like we got 2 resurrects already, so as long as, if we had coined 2, we could coin on 3 into this guy, it'd be crazy. Shadow Word Pain's a super good draw right now. God, feels good, man. Feels good. Open board to play the Barnes on. I'm assuming he's gonna hero power here. If not, we might see like a Tunnel Trug or a Spirit Claws. The totem, if he gets the 1/1. All right, this is good. This is good. So Barnes just needs to bring out like a Bog or a Rag or a Sylvanas. Oh, that's not a good one. This is one of the worst ones it could bring. There's actually, I believe, there's 2 Injured Blade Masters, 2 Soul Priests, and then the Onyx Bishop. So there's 5 cards. So it's basically 5 and 5. So it has a 50% chance Barn does to rip out something pretty nice out of the deck. Whether it be Bogs, Rags, or whatever the case may be. But bringing back a bunch of 3/5s that our hero power can deal 2 damage is also pretty nice. So don't count this guy out yet. Plus, last game, remember how low we were when we had originally played the Soul Priest, and then how low we were, you know, later on in the game. But in this particular match, we're still at 30 life, and we can actually play a more value game because it's still so early, or heading toward that mid-range part in the game, and we can use the hero power to start attack, like clearing his minions and using it more control-y versus more defensively, hoping for bog creepers and things of that nature. So, of course, the hero power probably going to make this trade here. I really don't see a reason why he wouldn't. But, you know, he could end up going face. All right, so this definitely makes sense. That goes along with... yeah, it's going to happen. Okay, so we could go with the Onyx Bishop, which will bring back the Soul Priest and then swing this into the spell power, or we could go Resurrect, use our hero power, and then Power Word Shield the Soul Priest and maybe bait out a Hex. I think the Onyx Bishop is our best bet, but the problem is if he has field removal, we're kind of in a bad situation. But while this costs 5 mana and Resurrect costs 2, it's hard to say. I kind of want to draw into some good stuff, but I'm going to use this later. But if he baits out to Hex and uses Power Word Shield, it doesn't feel that bad. I think I'm going to still go with the Onyx Bishop, and then we're just going to swing into this. The problem is just if he gets Spell Power Totem, and he can go Lightning Storm, or he can go like Lightning Storm and then Maelstrom Portal, which he could probably clear most of the board. And none of these cards are good to resurrect. So we definitely we want to start drawing into some of our bigger minions, so we can maybe get those to die. And also, with playing against a Shaman and he hexes a card and it turns into the 0/1 frog with taunt, when we resurrect, there's a chance that it might bring back the frog, which is really painful, which is super painful. So there's the Azure Drake coming down. Can't really deal with that great, to be honest. Coin? What is he doing with 1 mana? Lightning Bolt? Okay. Sylvanas is a good one here. But I really don't want to leave the Azure Drake alive, right? So either just go face play the Sylvanas, or we Power Ward Shield one of these, swing, and then Hero Power. I suppose we can Power Ward Shield this guy. Bog is good, so I guess we'll Hero Power, swing, and we'll keep it going from there. I kind of want him to use a Hex on this Shadow Priest, and the reason we didn't Power Ward Shield this is because it would I'd rather keep this guy alive. And I'd rather this be undamaged because this is the thing he wants to kill. Geomancer Maelstrom? Spirit Claws and Maelstrom. Oh my god, Shaman's so broken. Shaman is so broken. And he gets Tunnel Trog. This feels good for you, man. Alrighty, so Holy Nova doesn't do a whole lot. I think Sylvanas is a good bet right here. But I also think Bog Creeper's pretty nice. The problem with either one of these is Hex. The problem with either one of those Hex. So Excavated Evil is actually pretty good in this situation. So if we play Sylvanas, he swing, swing, swing. If we play Bog, he just hexes. I'd rather kind of get a Hex out of the way. And if he doesn't have it, then we might see some removal. How many cards have been used? 18? It's pretty likely, high likelihood he has Hex. But we're going to hope he doesn't. He just naturally kills it, which is a good card for Resurrect. Let's hope to the RNG gods. God, 1 mana, deal 9 damage. Maelstrom Portal. It's Arcane Explosion with summon a random 1-drop, which could be a Tunnel Trog, which basically has the value of infinite. The more overload, the higher the attack. Please don't tell me this is the guy that's going to sit here and rope out the Hex onto a 6/8 with Taunt. Don't be that guy. Oh, fuck. Oh, he doesn't have it! Feels good, man. Feels good. Which one are you sacrificing? Are you sacrificing you should definitely sacrifice your spell power, dude. But I'm not gonna question you either way. You could actually play another Lightning Bolt. You know what? I think you should play another Lightning Bolt because that just makes our Excavated Evil that much better. Think about it. Think about it. Lightning Bolt it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting trade. You've made Holy Nova more effective. Oh, definitely excavating. Definitely excavating this. Oh man, you liked your field, and now it's dead. So we could go ahead and resurrect. It's got a chance to bring back quite a few okay cards. Or do we just want to play Sylvanas? I think we can go ahead and just resurrect, to be honest. I'm feeling Bog. I'm feeling Bog. I don't know, sometimes you just gotta feel the mojo, guys. You gotta feel the mojo. If you're feeling the mojo, you let that shit rip. You let that shit rip. But if you ain't feeling it, don't try to go off and, oh god, there's the Hex. Alright, maybe we didn't, alright, maybe it didn't rip so much. But it felt good for a little bit. It felt good for a little bit. Alright, let's see if you have another Hex. Damn, 2 mana just absorbed an 8 damage fireball from Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. The Fire Lord. All right, do we yeah, I think we power Shadow Ward Death that. And then we can probably just play the Sylvanas. We want Rag to hit this Mana Tide or something. This goes here. I guess this goes here. And then we're just gonna hope Rag does not hit the Stone Claw Totem. Feels good, man. Keep it going, Rag. That's what I'm talking about. So Holy Nova's still, it's decent. We might actually play it on a board like this, depending on what he plays, of course. But using it on totems is good because Rag's going to hit face for 8, and it's going to allow us to push lethal probably a turn earlier, which could be that turn that he draws Hex and turns this game around. Because the second Hex drops, that's 2 frogs, then bad things happen. Bad things happen. He targeted his own minions. That makes me think he's playing Primal Spirit, or whatever that totem card is. What would he target his own guy with? That's the question. I don't know. Don't know. Totemic Might. Okay. Is he gonna go face with this? No, what was his reason for Totemic Mighting? Lightning Storm? Okay. So you're hoping it hits... What's the plan? Oh, you're killing Rag. Okay. You know we're gonna take the fuck out of this totem golem, right? So this swings here. This gets played. And we're just gonna take this. Now you're down to 1 card. And we've got 6. 7 next turn. Feels good, man.
Well played.
Well,
All right, so we've taken out 2 of the top classes at the moment. Hunter, which is definitely, I would say, high tier 2, and then mid-range Shaman. I wouldn't really call it true mid-range, though, due to the fact he's playing a more totem variant with Totemic Might, but that's still not a bad card. Like, I would play that. That definitely goes in a Totem Shaman deck, so, which is very, very good still. Maybe not as good as the mid-range, but still very powerful. Shaman is still the best class, so I'm doing pretty well. Feels good. We've run out of water. Now we're playing against Warlock. All right, cool. So we're playing against 3 very good classes to kind of show off the deck. Definitely not going to keep anything in this opening hand at all. Definitely looking for not these cards. Barnes, Power Word, Pain, Holy Nova, Excavated Evil, and Soul Priest. Definitely not Sylvanas. Definitely not Rag. These are not cards we want. We play 5 big boys in this deck, and we always seem to draw at least 2 or 3 of them in the first, I want to say, 8 cards of our deck. Which means, like, if we have 5 of them in our deck, then if we have 30 cards, then we should draw basically 1 every 6, which means we should draw 2 every 12, which means we draw like 1/3 more than we normally are supposed to, for no apparent reason. Double Holy Nova is good, though. Hopefully he's playing Zoo. He's not. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long game. This feels good. Oh god, I was actually gonna heal him. I forgot that Warlocks take damage early on, because most classes you can just go and hero power your opponent just to show him you care. And oh, maybe he is playing Zoo. He just had a really shitty start. Maybe he is playing Zoo. There's no reason to do anything right now. We run Shadow Madness, which is really, really good against the Imp Gang boss, so we may just hold off. It all depends what he does. Coining into Sylvanas is also really nice. Okay. Still, I don't see a reason to do this. We're just kind of holding off. He only has 3. He's only pushing 3 damage. We have 4 removals in our hand. Field removals, so... Okay. Okay. So this is when we field clear. So Excavated Evil really doesn't do a whole lot. So definitely Soul Priest. And we have the Circle of Healing. And then we're going to have to coin. And then we're going to go ahead and Hero Power. and take out this this councilman. So I'm glad we held off. We got a defender out of the way, we got an Argus, and then we got a Imp Gang boss along with a Flame Imp out of the way. And the longer, of course, this game goes, the better it becomes for us, because we're going to be able to play some of our big boys and then keep bringing them back. Interesting play. Is he just pushing damage here? Oh, he's discarding. Gets 2 Soul Fires. Wow. Wow, those are big discards. Those are big discards. So we know we're Shadow Word deathing this. And I guess we're just gonna go for the minion control here. Next turn's Bog, and then we win. That's about the end of it. Unless he gets another Doom Guard and then discards more Silverwares. Oh, Forbidden Rituals. That's really nice. We can actually just go ahead and Holy Nova this. That's the second Forbidden Ritual I've seen today. Normally, the Warlocks have rotated this card out, but it looks like a lot of them have put it back in. I don't see why because of Maelstrom Portal, but, you know, if they're playing it again, so be it. We're just going to drop Rag. Depending on what he plays, of course. If he plays like a bunch of little dudes, then Rag, there's no point to Rag. Another Doom Guard. Gets the Silverware Golem. Alright, this game is still in. This game is still going. Alright, so now there's merit to the Bog, because the Bog will absorb the Doom, and from that we're going to be able to Holy Nova Excavated, and it also, please don't get Corruption, please don't get Corruption, please don't get Power Overwhelming, please don't fuck me, please don't fuck me, please don't fuck me, don't you dare fuck me with a Soulfire. Blood Imp's totally okay. Okay, trades. Trades, hits the face for 1. Everything has below 3 HP as long as this Imp Gang boss does not hit the Void Walker. Fuck me. Alright, so that means Holy Nova's looking pretty sick. But we probably want to play the Blade Master first. Holy Nova, it's going to kill everything but the Void. We can go ahead and buff this guy up even more. And Suggoth is going to get dropped next turn, followed by Onyx to hopefully bring back 2 more taunts. This guy's tapping away, tapping away. So we've seen 2 Doom Guards, which is good, which means he's hopefully run out of burst. Hopefully. We're gonna, you know, hopefully. Alright, this looks like an Excavated Evil kind of turn.
Get it out! Get it out!
Oh, Shadow Madness changes a few things. Nah. Wow. I would be kind of tilted if I was that Warlock. Feels bad, man, but feels bad. But feels good for us. Feels good for us, definitely. I think we played that quite well. Shadow Madness never came into effect, but you can easily see why the Shadow Madness is in the deck. All right, so with that said, we've played our games, we've talked about the deck, and we've seen what it can do. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed making this deck, tweaking it, and kind of refining it to a point where I think it plays very, very well, very fun, and very unusual kind of deck, right? We played it in a very specific way, looking to do very specific things while keeping control, maintaining the board. But it definitely has, you know, it's not an aggressive game. It's not an aggressive sort of deck, but it's not, you know, instantly control. It can be more of a mid-range if you so see, and if you draw the hands to do what you kind of need to do, kind of play it out how it's how the game is. Like, the deck doesn't play the same every game you play, right? It's going to play according to, first of all, what you draw, and then how your opponent's playing, because you want to bring back certain creatures with Resurrect, or hopefully aim to bring back certain creatures based on the percentages of what's died, and then it bringing back that specific thing you're looking for. So obviously versus more aggressive decks, bringing back like an Injured Blade Master early on is very powerful at, you know, maintaining the board, versus playing against maybe a controller or a more control deck, you know, bringing back cards as Sylvanas, Suggoth, or Rag are more important. So maybe holding back on Injured Blade Master is really important. So just keep that in mind when playing the deck. Definitely very cool, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it and the final refined version of it and what you guys think. As always, I'm Warshack, of course, and happy whatever the hell day it is.